Hi everyone, my name is Tony, and in this video I am going to continue a part 2 of one of my previous videos where I shared how you create a social media branding system. A system that helps you to get quality ideas, curate your interesting input and combine it with industry insights to improve your branding on your social media for your business or service. Here you can see a demo of some of the tweets I have prepared from my own usage of this system, where I've created tweets along the topics of AI, startups, personal development, spirituality. These are the tweets I've created as a result of my own AI workflows, which I will share in this video. Okay, so for those who don't know me, I'm Tony Tong. I'm a founder of an AI agency where we help businesses, marketers, salespeople boost productivity through smart automation. If you're a subject matter expert, a business owner who wants to improve your branding and authority on social media, you need to have quality ideas about your industry, product, or service on a consistent basis. In this video, I'll be showing how you can create and see how my system that helps me amplify my thinking clearly and consistently. Here we can see that there's a bunch of tweets I've already selected. I have a NAN workflow automation system here. Two of them I've separated. The first one here I have already covered in my previous video. The second one is a new one that I'll be sharing in this video today. It's an add-on to part 1, which I've already created from part 1, a one-pager of a key insight or idea that is a combination of external data from an RSS feed from my favorite authors, writers on publications, plus an interview that I've done from this content to insert my unique take, opinions, background knowledge onto this article. So with this is then the input for part 2 of the series. In this case, my demo here is focused on Twitter, and I've created 6 different unique formats to process the information into viral themes and topics that suit that particular platform. I'm just going to start from the end of part 1, so to help people to better follow the whole flow. In this case, I'm at my Gmail. I already have one of the insights here, right, where an AI in part 1 asks me interview questions based on the topic. In this case, it's about this insight where the modern abundance of options creates more stress than satisfaction, paralyzing decision makers. Right here, there's some interview questions which I've already answered here. So I'm just going to send it. This will trigger another workflow within part 1, specifically this one. And this trigger would then create the Google document similar to this one, as you can see here. Alright, so I'm just going to run it through first, making sure that it is running. So here you can see that once I've sent the email, it starts a workflow where it goes through the latest email I received in the inbox, and then it processes the entire interview answers, and then it creates a new Google Doc that I can see in my Google Drive here. So I'm just going to go to the Google Drive containing the articles, and I should see a new one here. Okay, so this is the one, Signal Curator Doc 21. And voila, from that insight idea we had, combined with my unique input here, I got this created right within minutes. This is something I resonate a lot with. The worldview is shaped by 2 competing forces, the value placed on the self versus external. I did write it clearly somewhere inside here as well. Let me just show you. I do have this point where people have different needs, where they rate and complain, there's an amplified effect. So this talks about how something that works well for me might not work well for others. Even the best products, services, people out there get complaints. So it can be a confusing signal where someone, a product or service that works very well with you gets negative feedback. So that idea was implicitly found inside here as well. And here there's some actionable shifts. So these are some tips as well based on this idea. On Twitter, in my other NAN workflow, part 2 of it, I tracked out that document from my Google Drive. So this workflow takes the latest edited document, one document from the whole Google Drive, right? In this case, it's the one that was just uploaded by the previous automation. It runs through 6 different formats here. You can see format 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 here, and it creates, essentially you can think of it as 6 tweets or 6 raw tweets. And then I merge it here into one node to combine all the output together. So you can see here, this is already one of the tweets in one particular viral format. This is another one, right? This is another one, using a point of view format that I've seen. So some of these formats I've taken from websites that show what are examples of very top popular formats of presenting information. In this case, I'm presenting on Twitter, so I purposely choose to refine my ideas and produce it in a format that suits that said medium. So in this case, I'm sending it to Airtable. Here, there is another table I've added. Here, where you can see that these are all the ideas that were added. Yeah, you see the AI is actually writing them manually here. Let's open your decision app here. So over here, that's another layer of curation for me, right? There's another row to say approve or not. It's a checkbox right here. So for this process, I prefer to manually still read through, make sure it aligns with my taste, it feels good. Sometimes I get surprised by how good the AI is in writing some tweets. And then in this case right now, I'm still manually copy and pasting to my buffer, right? But if you use any other social media system, you can easily hook up this to another program that allows you to schedule your tweets. So I'm just going to click around and show you a couple of tweet examples. It's 2032, you open your decision app, one that reviews choices, you ask where to move it, suggest a city, right? When do we stop trusting ourselves, right? So all these tweets are formatted differently, but they still reflect the same idea based on the one-pager document that we've created, because that's the core information, right? The system offers 214 perfect options based on your preferences, trends. Big Tech said that AI would simplify life, instead it weaponized for more. So you see, it's very interesting how AI is able to take in a good idea, we've recreate it, and then format it in a format that mirrors many viral Twitter, or we call them bangers, that you see. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the workflow and share an example of one of them formats, just to show you how it looks like in the back end. So this is the article from the Google Doc, right? Resonance. Let me just rerun it again. Yeah, okay. So in this example, you can see when I open up one particular viral format, the AI is taught that viral format and takes in the Google Docs information that I've shared here, highlighted here, and I can just show you the comment. So this is the prompt that I'm using for this particular tweet. So generally, just a primer on prompts. Usually you start off by telling the AI what's its identity. In this case, I said you're a Contrarian, Twitter voice, sharp. Your task is to do this, right? I show the format of what I want, right? It's this year you're doing this. Big Tech said this, but why is it bad? Basically, that's my format that I've chosen, and then I give it at least one example here, so it knows exactly what a good output looks like. In this case, I gave it 2 examples, right? Right. This helps the AI learn and know what exactly you want. So in short, you say you give it its identity, you tell it what to do, you give it an example of what a good answer looks like. And lastly here, I have what I call a JSON format. Basically, it's just to help the downstream process properly pass and read the output accurately. In this case, I standardized to JSON formats and gave it an example of what an example JSON format looks like. Here, I also have an output parser to help to match. It's like, think of it as a second check. The first check is that prompt I shared. This second one is like after the LLM produces the prompt, it checks back with this output parser and make sure that it's aligned, make sure that the format is the same, right? This is very important for workflows, because if the format is just a little bit different, it's going to break the downstream workflow and it might stop, it might retry and waste credits and all these kind of things. So this is a good practice for LLMs where you have the structured output parser. Okay, so I've done this for the 6 different formats. I just merged them and I just published them to an Airtable. So the automation here is fairly simple. Of course, there are ways to improve it. I could easily, based on approving, I have a checkbox here. Based on those that I tick, it can trigger another webhook to say, hey, send this to a buffer or equivalent to schedule the post and put it in my content timeline. So that's a pretty standard workflow. The one I'm using now is Buffer. Unfortunately, I just realized today that Buffer seem to have deprecated their public API, so I can't just link it with my NAN straightforwardly. I might have to use something else. I've seen Zapier, but I'm not using Zapier for other stuff now, so I feel like I don't want to just use Zapier just for this integration. So I might move to something away from Buffer, but just to share, Buffer is what I've been using for most of the time. This is a paid plan, by the way. The free one only allows you to queue up to 10 tweets, but as you can see, yesterday when I created the formats, I'm able to very quickly create like dozens of tweets, all with the similar format. I'm becoming almost an art curator, right, where I see different tweets and then I measure them based on how relevant it is to me and how I like it. And it's not just about how good I think it is, it also has to match my genuine thought and internal beliefs. Okay, so I think that's mostly it. So I think the key idea here that we are trying to do is that we know that AI is out there. We know a lot of people are writing LLM AI generated posts, comments for social media. What we are doing is we're still leveraging AI, but we are still making sure we add in human in the loop. We're adding in certain points to ensure that we can check the outputs, make sure our output is sufficiently combined, right, and considered when creating content. In this case, this whole system, there was a total of, I would say, 3 checkpoints. The first one is when the part 1 of the automation created these raw ideas, right? These are purely just from content from other publications, Substack, articles, and websites. I, in the loop, had to tick this box first to suggest it's a potential signal. So let's say out of 10 ideas, maybe I just choose 3 or 4. And only these 3 or 4, I see them as potential ideas. They get sent to part 2 of the part 1's workflow here, this particular one, which then creates that interview series, which you see here in my inbox here, right? So this is the part that, based on the context, it asks me questions that are relevant to that particular idea. Then when I send it back, then it creates the final document, which you see here, right? So far there's been two manual parts. One is selecting the raw idea. The second one is creating the interview answering the interview. And the last one here is to review the final output, the tweets here, right? So once I send it back, it creates the document, the automation, part 2 automation automatically creates a bunch of tweets. And here I have another checkpoint here. Say, do I approve the final tweet before I actually send it to the social media tool? Okay, so we've created a system, we've leveraged AI, we've leveraged its ability to do multiple things. Summarize content, part 1. Part 2 is generate questions, create an interview from the content. Right? And part 3 is to follow a viral, popular format in a medium to repurpose the information to a format that we want. Okay, so AI is very versatile. It can do many things. In this case, we've done it 3 things to create an output like that within one system. You can still leverage a lot of AI to create lots of tweets, lots of content. In my case, one article can easily create 20 to 30 tweets, if not more, right? I can scale it by the number of viral formats. In this case, I had 6, but imagine I had 20. Just from one article, I can easily create 20. I can also repeat the same AI run on the content, because the content itself it's on page. There's at least 4 to 5 key ideas from each article or subpoints that can be reused or repurposed or reworded in another way, right? Say my audience is startup founders, it's people in tech, engineers, marketers, business owners. Each one of these audiences would prefer different jargon, will understand different terminologies. So that is another level of scaling. You can easily see how, based on a system like that, you can easily scale hundreds from one core article. And this scales to other mediums as well. Let's say I'm doing LinkedIn as well. I can also reword and repurpose this for a LinkedIn article. So you have that outreach across multiple mediums. You have it suited for different formats. And this is it still keeps your authenticity. It keeps your personal voice, so that when people read it, they know, okay, it doesn't sound like it's purely AI, right? It does have a unique take to it. Okay, cool. So that's the end of this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, please subscribe below. If you want to go deeper and learn how to use such a system, or if you have anything to ask about AI, do book a 15-minute consult with me in the link below. We can help you to turn your ideas into a repeatable content machine with your voice at the center. Alright, so rounding off, I'm Tony. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.